Welcome into your SEC. Why would an
SEC.
SEC preview essentially?
SEC
But
preview.
sports tonight we're gonna have an SEC preview. Sorry, we've been talking.
SECST just for you guys.
We've been talking a lot about the SEC championship game coming in. Can you tell?
Whole lot of S's, whole lot of T's going.
Listen,
I get it.
you came here for a sports show.
Look, it's
okay?
been a long month, a long football season.
We're almost there. So we're going to
coming
jump
close.
into SEC, obviously. We are actually going to talk a little bit about the Big 12 championship because there was some fun banter going on in the locker room. But more importantly, Lee is cheering for my team this week, so we're definitely going to talk about it.
Yes, we are.
We're going to get into some of the NFL storylines from the day because there are some big ones. And then wrap up with a little Olympics talk because who doesn't like to talk about the Olympics, specifically the Winter Olympics?
Go Team Yay Sports.
Go Team Yay Sports. Let's get things started. The SEC championship game coming your way on CBS at 4 o'clock on Saturday. We are going to be live all day tomorrow, talking all things on Atlanta News First at 4, 5, 6. We'll have a live SEC Sports Tonight for you tomorrow. Rennie Curran, who usually does our SEC wrap-up show, will be joining us, so tune in for that. Then we'll also be live at 10 and 11, and we do have high school football.
So much going on tomorrow night.
So much. Definitely a fun time. We spent some time in Flowery Branch yesterday with the Falcons. They have a few former Dogs and a single Bama player, DeMarco, and they got to chit-chat a little bit. Should we hear from them first, and then we'll dive into it?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's start there.
Here are the Falcons.
There's definitely some trash talk going on, but it's all good. Definitely some SEC love going around.
Me and Zoe are kind of leading it, and DeMarco, he doesn't have many guys from the Bama side.
We probably watch it together, so I can. Every time we make a play, I get to talk trash and look at them. So we definitely probably watch it together as a team.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like it's a game that means a lot. I don't think there's a championship game that means more. The SEC, you win that, you got a fast track to winning an Natty. So it's one step we got to make.
It's definitely one of the goals that you coming to Alabama always waiting for. To be a SEC champion, be a national champion. So every time you're in those type of games, those big games, that's what we like to call them, the games that we play for, it's definitely a big opportunity. So that way, we can. We always say Alabama is where legends are made. So in order to be a legend, you got to win those games.
What's your prediction?
I think it'll be a four-quarter game, but I got the Dogs by 2 touchdowns.
So I do like John's prediction of a fourth quarter battle there, and it's going to be Dogs on top. I think that's what I think it's going to be, like a 31-27 Georgia on top. How you feel about that?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I know you don't like it, and I feel bad about it because I know you're a Bama fan.
I mean, God, I'm telling you, like it just I don't know what to make of Alabama. Like it just they start out slow every game, and then by the fourth quarter they're firing on all cylinders. Or in last week's case, they just decide to turn it on the very last play. So I don't know what's going to happen.
We were kind of talking about this before we came on the show. Georgia has had such a historic season, being undefeated, perfect regular season. I mean, they have a lot of positive stats, but a lot of their losing records are relative to SEC championship games.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're 0-3 against Bama, but they're 4-6 in the last 10 meetings in the SEC championship. It's not a winning record, what they're used to.
No. But, I mean, you got to remember, where Georgia was before Kirby got here.
Correct.
And even the first, year, when Kirby was here. I mean, it turnarounds take time. And, boy, have they got it turned around, though. I mean, look. And here's the thing. Guess what? If my team lost the SEC championship every year and then they ended up winning a national championship, I'll take that every single year.
Yeah.
100 out of 100 times.
Yeah.
I'll be great with that.
Yeah.
So.
I don't blame you at all. Another part of this, too, I asked the guys on the clock this, and I want to ask you. We'll do two different scenarios here.
Okay.
We'll start with Georgia. If Georgia wins the SEC championship, who is the MVP of the game. Their past MVPs have been David Green, DJ Shockley, Roquan Smith, and Stetson Bennett.
So they're out of 4 quarterbacks.
But everyone loves Brock Bowers.
I would still think it's got to be Beck.
See,
It's either Beck or someone's gonna have to play the game of their life on defense.
I said Carson
And
Beck.
I don't know who else. I mean, I don't really see anybody else.
I said Carson
Because we don't know
Beck.
if Brock and Ladd are even going to play. I mean, I doubt.
I think Brock will play.
Okay, well, if Ladd doesn't play,
Because it seemed they'd just
yeah.
been the same message for Brock has been soreness, more kind of a precautionary
Okay,
not
well,
playing against
let me
Tech.
rephrase. I don't know if Brock's going to dominate, even if he does
That's fair.
play.
That's fair.
Carson, though, if Georgia wins, Carson's going to have a good game. He's going to have a great game, honestly.
See, so Rennie and Drew would disagree with you. They both said Brock.
Okay.
I said Carson Beck. I think he could really rise to the occasion and have
Well, I mean, who's the one constant all year?
correct. That's my thing. I said
It's been Carson.
that's what I've said.
And who's the one player that gets the ball every snap? The quarterback.
I was.
So that's usually the.
I don't want to say hard on Carson Beck to start. I just think I wanted to make sure he could be big in those big moments.
Yeah, for sure.
But I also think he's so consistently sound and doesn't make mistakes that he gives this team an opportunity.
Look, everybody,
if he plays
pretty
like
much
that.
everybody across the board, the first month of the season had no idea what they were going to get in Carson Beck.
So let's.
It took until pretty much, I don't know, I
Auburn.
want to say like,
I
don't
think
know.
Auburn.
Well, but then you get Ole Miss and then Missouri
Yeah.
back to back to back, and then you really like, hey, dude's calm. He's not gonna get rattled. He's not gonna make any crazy throws. He's not gonna take crazy chances. He doesn't have to because he's got a good offensive player. And he's made it work with everybody else around him being banged up at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
And then your second and third options are available. So I think it's going to be him, honestly. I mean,
wanna say-
if Kendall Melton somehow has a monster game or Dejon Edwards, I mean that.
I think you saw him in Auburn be a guy who you're like, okay, we can win with him.
Yeah.
I think what you saw in the Ole Miss game was his ability to really make some big time throws. He was
Yeah.
throwing into some small pockets to
yeah.
Ladd McConkey. He was throwing some bombs.
Now that Auburn game though, Brock did very well too though. So I don't know.
So let's flip the script here a little bit.
'Kay.
Let's say Alabama wins. I'm going to say Jalen Milroe is the guy that gets MVP without a question.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so you're agreeing there.
I
Do you think we
mean,
have a 4th and 30 situation?
Unless we have, Dallas Turner or Chris Braswell, any of the one edge rushers comes out of nowhere and has 4 sacks, which that's a fat chance of happening.
Yeah, I was about to say, I
So
don't
yeah,
think that's likely. with the
Milroe.
line.
It'll probably be Milroe. I mean, but the crazy thing is I didn't think they were going to escape last week to even make it to this week. Well, to get at least.
But then you rush
get-
2
to
and
get
give them
hit-
all day. And here we are.
So what are we calling that officially? Is it the mill throw? Is it the
What other-
miracle? The Milroe miracle?
Oh, I like Milroe miracle.
Is it disaster in the pasture? Personally, I like disaster in the pasture.
Poor Auburn fans. Jalen Milroe did speak this week, gearing up for this SEC championship.
Yeah.
So let's see what he had to say.
Hey, Jalen. 2 years ago, Bryce had a big Iron Bowl, really, the big drive, a big finish for him, and to turn around and play Georgia in the SEC championship. What did you note about his preparation, the way he handled that kind of 2-week period?
Yeah, the biggest thing about Bryce, he stayed the same person. I think that's what something that I saw with Bryce. He stayed the same person no matter who played, no matter who the opponent was. He knew that through preparation it was going to allow him to be successful for any weekend. So I think that's something I took away from Bryce. And then for me, I just tried to be a sponge for all information, and that's the one thing I saw from Bryce, man. He remained the same person, and I think that ultimately allowed him to be successful.
Charlie. Hey, Jalen, just what has your chemistry with Jermaine been like this season? How has that grown? And then do you think he's maybe a little fired up to play his former team this week?
Yeah, Jermaine Burton, he had a great offseason. I mean, that's contributed to any success that took place during the season. I think his offseason was really good. He was really detail-oriented. He came to work every single day ready to compete, ready to get better, and I think that he did a really good job challenging himself to be the best receiver he can be. And with all of us, we're excited for a challenge. We're excited for what's next for our football team, and we're all just trying to build as much as possible.
Jalen, you had about 7 seconds to think on that 4th and 31 play. What was going through your mind, and was Isaiah your first read?
During that play, I just thought about fall back to your level of training. What people don't know is my dad and I, since we were little and we trained, we was all about repetition. Repetition. Whether it was an out route, a go ball, a post ball, a dig, we threw that ball probably 150 times. Constantly throwing the ball until I can't miss, until I mess up, honestly. And I'm all about perfection. So that's the biggest thing, with my dad. A quick story right there. But with that play, it was all about the 11 guys. You go start up front. Start up front. They did a really good job being patient, being sound, fundamental, and taking care of the guys that rushed. And then with that play, the biggest thing about that play was we repeatedly work on that play every single week. And it was an opportunity to take advantage of it, and we were successful. But IB did a great job on his end getting open.
Talked a lot about the impact that Bryce has had on you, and we see that with shaking everybody's hands on their way back to the locker room, staying poised after big plays and whatnot. What other things have you maybe learned from him, like the little things that he did that maybe we don't see?
Yeah, he was a servant leader. He did things to only benefit the team. And I think that was something that we all took from Bryce, was how much of a servant leader he was. And, for me, as a quarterback, that's something I saw that is something that allows a quarterback to be successful. It's all about the 11 guys on the field. And it's not an eye sport, it's a team sport. So that's the biggest thing, is that making sure everyone's on the same page. And I think Bryce does a really good job being a servant leader here and leading by example.
You've talked so much about progression and progressing each week. What would you tell someone that's judging this team? How much does this team progress from the team that lost to Texas to now?
Biggest thing is we're not a finished product, and I think that's a scary thing. When we're all clicking as a whole football team, it's a scary sight, and I think we have constantly need to improve offensively. Some things we need to clean up, and the biggest thing is with the progression, it takes acknowledging where you need to improve at. And I think we really do a good job with that in the locker room, and we're constantly building. We're constantly, acknowledging that there needs to be a lot of effort towards the common goal, and we constantly need to improve.
I think you just said on the phone that 6'2", 220 was your freshman year, but that's not accurate anymore. Is there a better number we should be using for your height and weight?
Let's see. With Thanksgiving that just took place last week, say I'm about 240. No, I'm just playing. I'm about 6'3", and my weight range is, just like I said, we just had Thanksgiving, so I can't give you an accurate number of what I weigh now, but I'm more than 220.
There's some video of you that got loose on social media after the game saying, "Give me the Heisman." I know it was an emotional moment, but I got to ask you, where do you think you stand in that conversation?
Yeah, that was an emotional moment. All about now just fixing what I need to improve on from Auburn, and there's a lot of things that I need to improve to keep pushing, keep moving towards our common goal, and try to get there as much as possible. But that was an emotional answer, and I'm just looking forward to the challenge that's ahead of us, which is this week.
Along the lines of a previous question, as you've gone on your own journey this year as starting quarterback, how have you seen yourself change and grow over the course of the year?
I think I've been the same person since I stepped into Alabama. The only thing that's changed is the opportunity to play the game that I love. I think that's the biggest thing, is I've been the same person, constantly wanting to work, first one in the building, last one out. I've been the same person. And I think that's the biggest thing. All I had was opportunity, and I seized the moment as much as possible.
Jalen, Georgia's 129 straight. To take them down would be huge, obviously. I'm not sure what the rankings come out, but they have one next to their name right now. How tough is it going to be on Saturday?
Good for them with all the winning they had. But we just know it's a challenge for us moving forward. and we have to constantly know that. And first thing we have to do is take care of today, be the best version we can be on and off the field. And I think we have a really good locker room that acknowledges that. And we're constantly, building, and we're going to have a great plan headed into this weekend. But the first thing we have to do is clean up some things from last game.
Last one, Austin.
Yeah, you got a couple penalties with the illegal forward passes. How difficult in that situation is it to make a decision like in a second like that? And would you have changed any of your decisions from the last game?
Oh yeah, that's something I got to improve on for sure. Watching the tape and then leaving out the game. Got to have better field awareness, and that's something that I got to improve on. And that's in the moment you don't really acknowledge it, but that's something I do need to be aware of, and so I do got to improve on that. But yeah, I did notice that.
Thanks, Jalen. Thank you, Nick Kelly.
Hey, Jalen. 2 years ago, Bryce had a big.
Okay, so that was Jalen Milroe talking. Any final thoughts before we move on?
I just hope Alabama comes prepared.
And another game you'll be watching very closely, which I'm excited to talk about, is the Big 12 championship between Texas and Oklahoma State. Would you like to tell the viewers or listeners who you will be rooting for in this one?
Well, it for certain will not be Texas.
He's an Oklahoma State fan for the day.
For 4 hours on Saturday.
Do you believe Oklahoma State can get this upset?
No, I don't.
Like not even the slightest little
bit? Maybe, I guess. I don't know.
That makes me sad.
Dude, they lost to South Alabama earlier in the year. I don't know what I'm getting with them.
That's fair.
I don't know. But hey, guess what? It's only a 1-game season right now, so they could do it. They could totally do it.
So the only reason I believe Oklahoma State, well, there's probably 2 reasons Oklahoma State can pull out this win.
Because they already beat Oklahoma?
No, that has
and
nothing to do.
Oklahoma beat Texas?
Number one,
transitive property,
is because we have Ollie Gordon, the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, came out of nowhere.
Running back.
I mean, pulling some records close to Barry Sanders-esque.
Oh, I like that.
No,
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, he has some. I wish I had it ready to go, but I don't. But there's a stat that came out after.
Let's
that
see.
game.
You talk. I'll text.
Oh, I know where it is. If you give me a second, I think I liked it. I know whose to go to, and I thought it was very interesting.
Let's go.
Okay. Oh, I got it. Okay, hold on. Give me a second, party people.
Well, it's going to be a good game either way.
It is.
I do. I just don't know about their quarterback Bowman. I don't
So,
know.
did I told you this, that I covered Alan Bowman at Texas Tech?
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that,
And
which is
then-
crazy. How long ago was that?
Correct.
Come on.
5,
What are you
6
doing,
years
Bowman?
ago.
What are you doing, Bowman?
5-6 years ago. Okay, where is this? Hold on. I'm going to find it for you guys.
You've been in college this long. You got one more game. Come on, man. I just need you to pull through.
He had a collapsed lung when he was at Tech.
Oh,
I mean,
God, really?
crazy things.
That's insane.
So, okay.
Well,
maybe
so we
this
know
is
he's
one.
tough. Okay.
We do know he's tough. I don't think he's that good, respectfully. So I get that. Okay, so here it is. Ollie Gordon joins Barry Sanders as the only players in Oklahoma State history to rush for 5 touchdowns in a game. Barry Sanders did that 3 times. That is insane. 3 times in a game, like 3 games, he had 5 touchdowns.
That is insane.
So, anyway.
That's insane.
Should I tell the Bijan story?
So he leads the nation in rushing yards?
He's
and
legit.
second with 20 rushing touchdowns, I guess behind Blake Corum, I would assume.
He's legit.
Oh,
So that's one
that's
reason I think they're
crazy.
going to win this. The second reason is Oklahoma State is great at being the underdog. We are playing with house money. We know it, the fans know it, the team knows it. You have no pressure. Just go play,
Yeah.
and you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing. The funniest thing. Can you imagine if Oklahoma State won the Big 12 championship game and knocked Texas out of it?
I can.
We do.
Is that a Tennessee fan talking over here?
Yeah, aren't they irrelevant?
Hey, does Joe Milton throw another touchdown or a pick?
Womp,
He can
womp.
throw it 80 yards. Right to the other team.
We have our peanut gallery talking tonight. And
Hey, Brett,
said
the Titans
no one
win?
cares about the Big 12 championship, which is just strictly not true. But we are going to keep it moving here.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people care this week. It's
We
probably
are-
the biggest. Honestly, this is probably the biggest one.
This is the one everyone cares
I think.
about
Well,
the most.
well, because yeah,
A lot of people watched
'cause
the
here's the
Oklahoma
thing.
State Baylor game that came down to like the last possession with the extension into
Yeah.
the end zone.
Because I mean, this is a spot up for grabs. If they lose, if Texas loses, like Ohio State's got Alabama, Ohio State, even Georgia. If they would lose, they could possibly slip into 4. Then
Yeah. Okay,
Or
so let's switch
FSU.
into some NFL talk, keep things moving here on the show. Briefly mention that the Cardinals have waived Zach Ertz, and that is
Oh,
coming
no.
from J.J. Watt, his former
Oh,
teammate, who's now a
no.
media member. So
Air
that has been
quotes.
confirmed. They're mutually parting ways. We'll briefly go over this too. An arrest warrant has been issued in Dallas for Bills player Von Miller for
What?
allegedly assaulting a pregnant woman. So Vaughn, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he out part of last season too because of injury?
yes.
So he just came
Yeah,
back
yeah.
this season. The Bills have been up and down, not as dominant as they
Yeah,
have in years
no,
past.
no.
But they could be losing another
piece.
key piece. And then something that's been talked about all season is Aaron Rodgers and his Achilles.
He's
He is back. His 21-day
back.
window has opened. He has been at practice.
It's crazy.
Rodgers is not ruling out anything for an early return. It's saying anything is possible. Now, there was a lot of speculation of if he was going to play this
Yeah.
week. There's no way. The Jets already
No,
said it was
no,
going to be
no,
Tim
no.
Boyle, but this is just the next step in his rehab process. Who knows if he could return? A lot of it has been dependent on if the Jets are in playoff position, which
Right.
they have lost 4 straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's little to none at this point.
But yesterday when we were at the Falcons practice, Lorenzo Carter, the linebacker, since the Jets and the Falcons are playing this week, so we were talking about Aaron Rodgers and all that, and Lorenzo said he was amazed at this comeback. Like, it's insane that he can come back this fast, even just walking. Not, I mean, without a boot, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure he's still a bit away from actually strapping anything on to Phil, but like, come on.
He can practice. I don't believe he's cleared for contact yet. How long that will take, but the fact he's even back on the practice field is crazy.
God, he's almost as good as Brock Bowers, right?
I think I saw the quickest anyone has ever returned from an Achilles injury is 5 months.
Oh,
So yeah,
it's been
We'll
like what, 3?
let's see, September, October. No, yeah.
Insane.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess manifestation. We'll see if it works. Here's what Robert Saleh had to say about Rodgers and his possible return.
I think it's sooner than everybody did. But I think it's a credit to him, you know. I know we're getting caught up in trying to create a narrative around it, but the true narrative is he's old school in the sense that he is driven. Is there motivation to be the first to ever do it? Sure, that's okay. That's his why. That's why it's better than a lot of the, you know, it's a mentality that I think young guys should be able to grasp to, that he loves this organization. He wants to be with his teammates. He wants to be here. I think he's sacrificed so much already for the organization and himself and his teammates, and he's doing it again. I think it's a testament to who he is as a human. And yeah, obviously there's a little bit of that drive where he wants to prove that it could be done faster than anyone's ever done it before. That's okay. That's just part of his mental makeup. I think he still runs with a chip on his shoulder, and that's the way he lives his life, where he always wants to prove people wrong in terms of doubting them. And he's a special human, and I think his actions are showing and how much he appreciates, I think, this organization and everything around it.
For a game, the risk involved and whether it's worth it, and looking ahead to 2024.
Yeah, everyone's on the same page with regards to what the next steps are and all that stuff. And like I said, this is so different than, like I said, Hardy and Dwayne Brown and anyone else who we opened the window for to return. Yeboah, we've done it. We've got to make a decision on him soon. But you know, with Aaron, like I said, this is more progression in his rehab. And if we get to that 21-day window and he's feeling great, we'll have that discussion then. But right now, it's just a matter of just of him progressing in his rehab. I promise Aaron is not going to do anything that puts himself in harm's way. If he is not healthy to play, Aaron is very, very smart. That's not something he's going to put himself at risk for. With that said, though, he is driven. He is achieving things that have never been achieved with regards to this injury, and it's the progression with regard to rehab. He's on, and I think it's remarkable what he is doing, but he is also smart and being with regards to how fast it's going.
Do you have a message to your team regarding him being back and participating more and gearing up here?
No, I think if I'm a young guy and I'm watching him, I think it's I'd grab hold of that subliminal message, that unspoken word of here's an older man who has nothing to prove. He's already going to the Hall of Fame, and a man who's sacrificing so much of his body, so much of his bank account, so much of everything for an organization because he loves the game of football. And at the end of the day, we are playing a kid's game at a king's ransom, and I think he embodies that.
Saleh calling him an older man who has nothing to prove just kind of makes me laugh because Aaron Rodgers always has a chip on his shoulder. Yes, he is an older gentleman in the NFL, but yeah.
Is he older than Saleh?
I now I have to know. I think so. I think he turns 40 like in December, like the 4th or something, and Robert Saleh's 44, so no. Saleh's just 4 years older than him.
Okay.
But there you go. Keep it moving here because we got to wrap up on sports tonight.
Yep.
Salt Lake City, most likely getting the Winter Olympics in 2034, coming back to the States. Been there
Right.
before. I love the Olympics. Are you a big Olympic watcher or no?
I am mostly Summer Olympics though. I'll do some downhill
no
skiing.
figure skating
I'll do a little bit of figure
or
skating.
snowboarding.
I'll tell you what.
Or skiing.
What was it? Paulo Antonio was going around the speed skates. Oh,
No, Shaun White. Shaun White is like one of my favorite Olympians.
is he still
No.
snowboarding?
No, he's retired.
Okay.
He's retired.
I was about to say.
There's
Okay.
actually a really good documentary on him on HBO. If you have not seen it, I would suggest go watching it. It
All
tells
right.
about his whole career, getting into snowboarding, the things he went through. It's a really, really good watch.
Nice.
We'll have to get Ellie on here at some point to talk about it. She loves the Olympics. Ellie, you want to yell out what your favorite thing to watch is during the Winter Olympics for the viewers? Figure skating. That's my girl.
Any particular person, athlete?
I loved Tara Lipinski growing up. Tara Lipinski was
Oh,
like the
all right.
epitome.
Well, there we go. 2 for 2.
Just loved it. Okay, we have about 2 minutes left. We're going to go with the final round here. What is on your mind? Leah, we'll start with you.
I want absolute CFP chaos. I want Texas to lose.
wants
I
the
want
chaos.
Alabama to win, but like barely win. And I want there to be like some ambiguity
Okay.
for everyone involved.
I am thinking about LeBron James's son, Bronny. He had cardiac arrest on July 24th, has been out 4 months while being with USC. He has finally been cleared to practice after all of that. So really cool to see him kind of
Yeah.
rebound from that. It was really scary. I mean, he's so young. I think he's 18 years old, getting ready to start his basketball career. If everyone remembers, LeBron doesn't want to retire just yet. He wants Bronny to get to the NBA. He wants them to play together, and then he will set to retire, supposedly. We will see how that works out.
Well, glad to hear that though. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's good that he's back out there, back being able to practice, because that was a scary, scary situation. But that will do it for your sports tonight.
All
Tonight,
right.
don't forget that tomorrow we will have a full live show from the Bends. It will be me, Rennie Curran. Wonderful Lee will be out there. He'll be doing the behind-the-scenes work, but we will dive into everything SEC championship related. We'll hear from players. We'll talk Carson Beck versus Jalen Milroe. We're going to have it all for you, so make sure to tune in. But for now, that will do it for your Sports Tonight, this Thursday edition. For Lee Smith, I'm Bailey Burmaster.
Go Pokes.
Go Pokes. You guys have a great night.